I worked for almost 10 years with adults with neurological conditions, but eventually, I initially started working with physiotherapy, but I transitioned into speech and language therapy because I felt there was a real gap on technologies to support speech and language therapy delivery. And that's why we created Beautiful Voice. So Beautiful Voice, just to give you a bit of the boring stuff, Beautiful Voice is a medical device for speech and language therapy. So we have certification, we have all the regulatory things to use in the NHS. It's a very broad tool, as you're going to be seeing here. So it's a toolbox to help you save time for speech and language therapists, to have quantitative data from your patients, and to allow patients to practice more effectively and more independently. So I'm going to share a screen, and you guys are just going to be seeing. Actually, since I was very good at you, I believe it was Ruth who mentioned it. I'll start from the very beginning, which is the website you guys are seeing. So this is our website, Beautiful Voice. Once you click here on Start Here, you'll be transferred to the platform, which is here. And if you want, you can just create an account, and it's just by clicking Register here. So the key feature, some key features already might be noticeable, but for Voice is a website, so it's not an external app. So basically means you can use in any computer, notebook, tablet. You can technically be used on a phone, but the screen size is a bit small for most things that most patients would be using the platform. So it's not advisable. We do recommend using Chrome, though it works with most browsers, but Chrome works better. So every person who uses Beautiful Voice has to have their own account. And that means both speech and language therapists and patients. So I'm going to be showing here for a speech and language therapist account, which is obviously very fake for the name. And once you log in, you're going to basically see your patient list. Obviously, now you can see this is all redacted, but to hide if you are showing your screen in front of a patient. But but these are all fake patients, so it doesn't really matter. So each patient, you can click Add Patient, and you can create an account for your patient. That means you're going to be, everything that you do with them is going to have their data stored there. You're going to be able to send homework to them, and they're going to be able to access the platform either with OT, RA, volunteer, or caregiver, and we use the platform at home. The homework is sent to them. So I'll click here on one of our patients, and here you're going to see what Beautiful Voice can do. So you're going to be able to do training. So the training section is going to be exercises that you want to do recurrently with them, either in person or sending to them as homework. Then I'm going to show a little bit of assessments, which are going to be more, we're going to have a wide range of assessments for the beginning and end of therapy or middle points, as you probably know better when you should do them, but I'll show them. We have a bit of group games and goals, which I'm not going to show. Results. So everything that is done on Beautiful Voice is going to be stored and available for you to track a patient's progress and for themselves to know they're improving. And case notes, which we support you in writing the case notes with the information we have already. Since everyone is from a very specific stroke, I'm going to skip the voice section, but I'm going to start with speech exercises. So the first thing I want to show is an exercise that is going to show a lot of the things that Beautiful Voice can do. So it's a paragraph level exercise, so it's going to be quite long. And as you can see here, it's called Short Paragraphs by Topics of Interest. So we're going to ask the patient with some speech issues to read some paragraphs, and we're going to be analyzing their loudness and intelligibility. So these two buttons here are showing what we're going to be analyzing while they do the exercise. I'm going to put here just to do two, and it can be any topic of interest that the user may have. I'm going to put my very common example, which is Taylor Swift. But this could be literally anything. You could type if they are into Aston Villa Football Club, or if they are into Thailand history, whatever you want, you can write that. I'm going to pick a phoneme to focus. So I'm going to pick the phoneme pa, and we're going to generate two paragraphs around Taylor Swift, focusing on the phoneme pa. So here you can see here, Taylor Swift, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna read them aloud for you, so you see. So we generated the paragraphs, the content. And I'm gonna click Start Training, and here we have it. We're having shorter forms. I'm just picking the longer one because it shows more of the content. And once we click Start here, it's going to start recording my microphone, and it's going to analyze how well I say the passage. I'm not going to read the whole passage, so don't worry. Taylor Swift, a pop star with a powerful presence, captivates people with her impressive talent. Her popularity skyrocketed with her perfect pitch and poignant lyrics. As you can see, loads of pause, not quite a tongue twister, but loads of pause. Once we finish it has recorded. It's going to give like some initial feedback. We can listen back, so we could play back for our patients and say, let's hear back how you're doing the pause and give some advice for them. Obviously, do some demonstrations. We can click repeat, but I'm not going to make you listen to me speaking about Taylor Swift again. And I'm going to click see detailed results. So here we're going to have an analysis on a word-by-word level of how well I spoke each of the words. So it's going to give an accuracy, and it's going to highlight with colors each of the words that I spoke. We also have, which may not be that relevant for this setting, but we can also have on a word-by-word level the loudness that they spoke. Obviously, this is very useful for PD. So this exercise shows a couple of things that are really core to what Beautiful Voice is trying to create. So the first one is personalization of exercises, both for their clinical needs in terms of the pause, but also in their personal interest to support them to practice more. The biofeedback and the analysis. So the biofeedback, while they're doing, there was a loudness meter to allow them to see how loud they're speaking, if that was their need, but also the analysis towards the end of how well they spoke each of the words for you to track. And we're going to see this concept in several exercises that I'm going to show later on. But does this make sense so far? Do you have any questions or no? Okay, great. So I'm going to click main menu here, and I'm going to show a couple of other exercises that we have. So in the speech section, we would have articulation exercises. So this would be single phonemes and words. So let's say we're still working with the pa. Would have a video.
Press your lips together. Release a
doing the articulation of pa, and then we would have several words
perch
with someone speaking those words containing the phoneme pa. I'll do very quickly here. Perch. And once we get to the detailed results, we could do the exact same thing here. Listen back, repeat. We're going to have on a phoneme by phoneme level accuracy of the word of how well they spoke. So this is always going to be available. The IPA chart only appears when the speech and language therapist is doing the exercise with the patient. If the patient is doing independently, we just show the phoneme quality on this, the way beneath there. We have, it's going to progress from single words to, we have minimal pairs exercise. So it gives a response when they say a different minimal pair. I'm not going to show everything. We're going to have a wide range of ways to create content. So we can have words with certain characteristics. We're going to have some pre-built functional phrases, tongue twisters, which you can select which sound to work on. We will have news headline. It picks from the news every day, so it changes every day. We can generate with AI using pub quizzes. Speaking in a noisy environment, so there's a background noise, fun facts, so that would be the short version of the Taylor Swift one I said, and jokes. I'm not going to show off any of this, but I'll just show, you can pick one of those, create the setting here. I want them to do 10 times, and then you can add to home training list, and we're going to create a homework list for our patients. So once we send that homework list, they're going to be able to access that and do as much exercises as they want. One exercise I want to show, and I think it's something I think is quite interesting, is the conversation level. So this, up to now, I was showing everything was scripted, but this is an unscripted exercise. So in this exercise, the patient is going to work with an AI in a certain situation. So here would be GP practice receptionist, but we have, I don't know, ordering a coffee or booking your holidays or things like that. And it's really good to practice for them to build up their confidence. So I'll click start training here.
Welcome to the local GP practice. Would you like to book an appointment?
And here they can say whatever they want. In this case, I'm going to say, yes, I would like to book an appointment, please.
Thank you for choosing our GP practice. Who is your preferred practitioner for this appointment?
I would like to see Dr. Brown, if possible.
Thank you for choosing Dr. Brown.
It would go on the conversation. Here would have a transcription. And it's really, obviously, this is way more functional exercise, but it's really good for them to build their confidence to do certain activities. And all the data, as usual, would be available for you and the patient. I'm going to go into the language section, and this is another Pandora's box of different exercises, and there's a big variety. So I'll just try to show a couple of them. So we'll start with cute picture naming. You can select what themes you'd like to see. I'll just pick here animals, and I already have fruit. And
Press start. Name the picture.
so here, obviously, you see a pig. We have audio cues.
Pear.
We're going to have vehicle sentences and description of what it is. And I'll click start here. And if they want, they can also even see the choices. I'll click start here and say the word pig, and it's going to recognize that I said it. And then we can go next.
Press start. Name the picture.
And if they say blueberry, and it's and once we go to the results, it's going to keep track of everything. So here I got both of them correct naturally, but it's also telling how many cues I use. So for pig, I use the vehicle sentence, the semantic cue, and the sound hints. So it's going to show every single cue that I used. And for the blueberry, I didn't use any cues. So we're going to have all this data available for you, how many cues they're using, in what categories, and so on. So we're really trying to support you. You don't need to focus on this and can focus more on your client when delivering therapy, or you can just see when they did the exercises back home. We're going to have a wide range of exercises. I'll just show a couple of them. So on reading comprehension, for example, here you can see on the right, you're going to see a preview of the exercise you're going to be working on. So you can select here, you can see like it's matching letters to words, but you can see on a level 2, it's going to look like that. So the language exercises, most of them, they step up if the patient's doing really well, but you can select their starting level here, and it's going to update here if they stepped up themselves. We have the ability to personalize some language exercises too. In this case, it's a reading comprehension exercise. So I'll put a different topic. I always pick the same one, so it always completes, but this would be the Beatles. I'll put a certain vocabulary difficulty level. And they're going to have a text here, and they're going to have 3 questions which are directly extracted from the text. So here probably be something, where is it from, or something like that. So once they click show the question,
Where were the Beatles from?
Yeah, as expected. And
how many members were in the Beatles?
And if they want, they can repeat the text and read it again. And they had 4 members, so everything is very directly extracted from.
How 4 is correct.
And once they get to the results, we also are keeping track here. We got correct, but I needed to repeat the text once. If they had self-corrected or skipped a question, we would also see those things. So we'll have this type of capability of personalizing exercises. And we also have some exercises which are going to be a little bit more functional and situational. So we're going to have ordering from a menu. So there are going to be a few tasks involving a menu, recognizing clocks. So it has, this you can see this is level 4, which is an analog clock, but starts at level 1 with a digital. It has a lot of levels. The speaking with AI, which we obviously is an exercise that could be used for many different, both for language and speech, and recognizing money. I'm gonna do a quick stop to drink a glass of water. And do you have any questions or comments or? Great. Oh, please go ahead, Ruth.
I'd be really curious to see the written expression stuff, because a lot of the written materials and apps that I have are not terribly complex, and sometimes I'm looking for things that are more complicated. Does it have, what sort of level does it go up to, the written expression?
Well, let's see what we have here. So we're going to have, and this, I should have said that at the beginning. For us, it's really important for you to tell us, it doesn't need to be now, but tell what type of exercise you look, and then we would add the exercises that you need. So it's for us, the biggest challenge is actually knowing what's the most useful exercises that you find. So we'll have copywritten words. So basically, I'll actually give an example, which is word starting for given letter, which is more fun. But we have some 1,000 common words would just be random words. They don't need to do anything, just copy the words. I'll just show an example where they can personalize the words they're working on writing.
Press start and say some words starting with the letter F.
So here they're going to pick the words they're going to practice writing, and they can choose any words starting with F. And we always give a theme. There's also by themes, actually. Family. I'm just going to pick one.
Select which of the words you want to practice writing.
And
let's write the word.
So we're going to have...
Type the letter F.
We're going to have writing letter by letter. I'll just do very quickly just to be able to show everything. So then we're going to have...
Good job. Type the word by yourself.
Obviously, I'm going to do it very quickly, but...
Now type the word from memory.
So this exercise would be this three-staged. I'm going to show the other exercises too. This one would be like picture naming, but they have it progress is a picture naming. It can be the picture or audio, the prompt, and it progresses from having one letter missing to 2 letters missing to the first letter missing to, I'm just going to show, to an anagram, more letters, to an anagram with more distractors, so all letters, and then finally they have to write by themselves. And then we're going to have word search, which is basically finding words in a grid. We'll have a hangman finally, and then antonym, which is basically writing antonyms. Sorry, but please let me know which exercise you'd be looking for, and I'll add that if there's something.
Yeah, I was thinking that they're all really good and really useful. I guess they're working at single word level, where I was wondering more at sort of functional writing. So writing email scenarios, you've got to do this, or writing formal letters, or that sort of thing, that sort of cognitive aspect of writing as well, so practicing constructing. And so yeah, just something I've been looking for a little while.
That's great. That's really good feedback. I'll talk to the speech and language therapists in our team, and I'm sure we're going to come up with something really interesting based on your suggestions. Thanks a lot. As with any exercise, you can pick here and add to the home training list, which you're going to add here. In terms of cognitive exercises, I'll just show a couple of them. There's, as I said, as you can see, there's a lot of exercise, so I'll just show a few. Would have matching shapes, would have matching color. I think these were going to be expanding, but here we have color to color and color to object. So here, obviously, the orange matches the orange. We have recently added visual scanning. Basically, I'll show this because...
Select all of the squares.
So basically, this obviously is, they have to select the squares. I'll just give an example here.
Correct. Not correct. Select all of the rectangles.
Once you get the results, it's going to keep track of which quadrants the mistakes are. So one more tool that's trying to support your analyzing the results for you. I'm just going to touch very briefly. We have recently added a dysphagia section to the platform. The dysphagia section is a little bit different. We would have video instructions for several exercises in terms of skill and strength, including MSD. They were created by CT St. George's by Professor Jackie McRae and a student. So they're going to have a video of the instructions and the written instructions. And once they proceed to do the exercise, I'm just going to turn off my camera for a second.
Pull your lips into a smile.
They'll have videos of each of the steps. So here's 2 steps. So there's going to be a video of the first step, and then they can click next and see the video of the second step. I'm not, and they can click start here and use the camera as a mirror while they're doing the exercise, so they can watch themselves doing. In this case, it's doing a really big smile, but and so on. So we would have for several exercises like this. We're going to be adding the capability of the SLT to review the videos later in a later moment to see how they're doing exercise if they're practicing independently. In this case, we don't have analysis, just tell them how many repetitions they did. The final bit of training I'm going to show to you is creating a custom module. So we create 2 types of custom modules. One is a voice and speech. So this is literally creating your own sentences, so you can put them to write and say anything you want. So let's say you're working with, I always need to make a new name, so it is tricky, Jimmy. Yes. And you can put, oh, this is the instruction you need to do, follow the video and say the sentence. And you can record a video for this if you want. And you can say here, I live in Springfield Road. So you can make any sentence that would be relevant for them to practice. You can put how many repetitions you want, and you can record your video doing the, I don't know, the articulation, or telling them what they should focus on, their posture, their saliva, etc., or the article, or whatever you would want. And you can put another one here, I love you, Mary, and that's obviously really important for them to do. And then you can choose what you want to have included in the exercise. So do you want to have a loudness meter or no meter? Obviously, voice is probably not what you work the most, but you can say, I want to see speech rate and sentence intelligibility, and you can add this to the home training list. So you just have sentences for Jimmy. I mean, I just wrote sentences Jimmy, but should be for Jim, and so on. Similarly, you can create a picture naming exercise, which is personalized. So this would be, you can put any name you want, pictures for Jimmy. I'll keep with this name for now. And I'm going to upload an image that I have here prepared for this, which is their dog. So you can put literally their dog, their spouse, their house. Let's say you can put here dog, and they could say puppy or whatever. So you click search synonyms, you're going to add loads of synonyms that are going to be acceptable. And if you want to say, hey, but it's called Rex, so you can even do semicolon, add another one. So any of this would work. And I'm going to add the home training list. So here we created a homework list for our patients. And then we can click here, send this to patient and say, work hard. You don't need to say anything if you don't want, or you can be more gentle than I am being here. So this was the training section. I'm going to show a little bit of the assessment, results, case notes, but do you have any questions or comments? Great, I'll move to the assessment part. Please, go ahead.
Can I just say, can you hear me, Andre?
Yeah, I can, perfectly.
I always think the use of AI is really innovative with this, isn't it? I don't know what everybody else thinks, but the reading comprehension, how far does that go in terms of complexity?
Right now it's not super complex. We're going to be adding some things to make it more complex. Right now it's going to be simple paragraphs. They're all going to be kind of the same size, and they're going to be level 1 questions, so they're going to be very direct. I'm working on trying to create things that can be more complex, but right now that's the case. One thing that we are adding to, which is not like very meaningful, but to the reading comprehension, is adding images to accompany the text. So just to make like it more, I don't know, more engaging and pretty. So it generates an image. In that case, would generate an image of, I think my example was the Beatles. So it would make, I don't know, the drawing of form of John, Paul, and Ringo and George Harrison happy, and then they would have the text. It really helps to driving adherence to therapy up, those type of things, like having the personalized content. I think that has been a very positive side to it. So in terms of speech, in terms of assessments, we're going to see things like the diadochokinetic rate, so something that you wouldn't do as an exercise recurrently, but you do at certain stages. We automatically compute it for you. It's pretty accurate. We'd have standardized passages like the rainbow, the grandfather, the caterpillar passage. So instead of news and Taylor Swift, they would be a bit more specific. we're going to have the scoring sheet of the French A Desire assessment, so they can go through it. You can go through it while doing the French A, if you're trained in doing the French A, and do it. And basically, you can just assign the points here. I'm just going to pick randomly and jump to it at the end just to show why this is relevant. It might be useful for you. So obviously here you're still doing the assessment yourself, but you're going to get all the pretty graphs for you. You're going to have the scoring by domains, and it can all be downloaded as PDF. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that on the case notes. We also would have some patient-reported outcome measures like the desire for impact profile. So you can do with them, or you can ask them to do independently. It is pretty long, but I'm not gonna do it. But it does all these things and computes the scoring. On the language side, a number of assessments, again, things to explore, like token assessment. I like to show the cookie theft.
Press Start. Say aloud everything that you see on the image below. Then press End.
So I'm going to do it. Obviously, I'm sure you people are very familiar with the cookie theft. I'll just do very quickly. The man is washing the dishes. The boy is stealing some cookies. The cat is chasing birds. And it's going to take a second here. It's going to compute, and it's basically going to transcribe everything that was said. So here's saying the transcription. And it has a scoring, it's not a scoring, but a highlighting form based on, I believe it's the Brisbane node, which highlights based on this subject, object, and verb. If something is wrong, you can edit it. So this is not the case, but if instead of man, I said gentleman, you can edit it and save. You can play back to listen. If you click here, you can play back from the certain word. So chasing birds. And you can add a verb if something was missed by the AI, which is not the case here, so I'm not clear. But basically trying to help you with the transcription, and you can also have all the audio saved for after when they're discharged, to show to them how much they have improved.
Andre, can I just check? Is that done with AI? What's actually doing the transcription there?
It's actually not AI. This is just a speech recognition algorithm. Sorry, I said the AI, but this was the only place we use AI is the generating content. It was an umbrella term for technology. It's just our speech recognition algorithms. And we would have written words comprehension assessment. So we'll show very, very quickly. So here we have which of the speech would go with the word pear, and then we'll have a phonological distractor in the bear, semantic in the strawberry, and unrelated. So I'll just pick a few things. I'll pick a few correct, a few incorrect, just to show how this might matter. So, and I'll go to the results. So once we get to the results, we're gonna show you everything that they picked and what were they doing correct or incorrect. So here in this case of this fake client, the phonological distractor is the thing they're struggling with, and this is going to be more visible for you for the scoring. So kind of trying to save time for you. Finally, dysphagia, we're going to have this wall call. I'm not going to show. It's a very long assessment, but we score a prompt, but we score it already, and we have a few assessments that can be done here. So in terms of results, everything that the patient does is going to be stored in the platform. We divide in 3 categories. So home is everything that they do in their own accounts. Clinic is everything that you're doing on your account with them. And assessment is all the assessments. And here you can see the date is today, Monday, 23rd. And we can see here we have the results of Taylor Swift and so on. If we click on an earlier date, like the 2nd, it's going to show all results from the 2nd until today. So this is from the date you're picking, is the from date. So you can see here, I'll just pick a news headline, which I didn't manage to show to you. It's going to show this how I progressed over this month in terms of my news headline exercise, in terms of sentence intelligibility and loudness. But they're both doing a very similar curve. And here you can see on a date by date. So here's the 2nd of June. I read this sentence is football. I'm from Brazil. I love football. So my example in general is football. Then you have here some food recipes and so on. So you can play back. So all results are always available. You can look at the results in terms of the pronunciation, the loudness from the past. So we're going to have this results page here. It's going to also show you how many days your patient practiced. Obviously, in the home makes more sense, though I don't think this account is practicing a lot, this demo account, but it's going to say how many days they practice it at home and some average results here for you. The final bit I like to show is the case note. So everything you did with your patient, your client, is going to be summarized as a case note. So here we have the name of the SOT, the name of the patient, which both for me. The subjective part is always empty. We don't fill it out. The objective part is going to show all the exercises we did in a short summary. So we did 2 picture naming exercises. I think that was the pig and the blueberry. 1 word intelligibility, which was the perch, the cookie theft, the French dysarthria. We did sentence intelligibility. So everything has a small short blurb there. You can add it, and obviously you're the final say that on what is relevant, but it's just to help you to pre-prepare things for you and to give you that. We're going to have here on each of the exercise, we're going to have like a summary here, and you can download them individually. So here you have to, and so on, or you can download the full report as a PDF and put in your PR or whatever you're using to report the case notes. On the client settings, you're able to change a few settings for the client. So you're going to have the communication difficulties they have. You can put the intelligibility analysis to be less or more strict, depending on what you feel that patient, if you feel it's like a very poor intelligibility, you want to make it less strict, so it's more encouraging for them. We show at several places, we show drink water if you feel like you don't want to show this message because they have, they might be have swallowing difficulties. You can put here, I have concerns with the patient's swallowing capacity, so it's not going to show drink water. And we have 2 user interfaces. I'll just show the simplified one for the patient. So we did all these exercises. I'm going to sign out. I'm going to go back to my patient list. So you can see here my patient list, and you can add patients and so on. I'm going to sign out, and I'm going to log in as the patient just to show you what the patient will see on their side. So this is the simplified view. So the patient will log in, and the first thing they're going to see here is home assignment. So this is exactly what you sent to them. Ignore the first 3 bits, which are assessments. We're going to show what I sent to them, which was the sentences for Jimmy, which is the I live in Springfield Road, which is where I live, so they can do it here. And we would have pictures for Jimmy.
Press start. Name the picture.
Which you're going to see that dog, and they can say Rex, and it's going to recognize this at Rex. So on. And this is basically, I'm happy to show more details, but this is the overview, and I know you probably have a couple of questions or comments to do. And I hope, Steph, that it looks more interesting now that I know it's been a while.
Yeah, I was just going to say there's definitely a lot more added from when I last used it, which is brilliant. I know Emma's nodding there as well because you've used it too, haven't you? So yeah, and I love the idea of the AI because again, that ability to use it more functionally and practice in certain settings as if you're having a conversation, I think is really good. Yeah.
Thank you, but also please do give me constructive feedback. We can improve. We have improved a lot, but was a lot thanks. Obviously, we have the speech and language therapists in our team, but it's the speech and language therapists on our networks which drive us to improve the platform.
And I think what Ruth was saying before, we find the same, is trying to sort of find that more written expression work that is sort of at a higher level. We've got somebody at the moment that we're doing that with and sort of trying to generate email discussions with them, that sort of thing. So yeah, anything like that you can add to it will be really helpful.
No, that's very good. We have basically in our team, we have a meeting every Wednesday with all the SLTs on the team, which we we discuss the feedback, and then we pick up and like say, and then we decide which SOT is going to be the most suitable to that works with that area, and then we're going to create like a template of an exercise and implement it. Probably it's something that we probably can do within a month or so. So I'll let you know once it's out. But it sounds very easy to do and something that we should have done before. But yeah.
I'd agree with that. I think the higher level stuff is really good. We're getting a little bit of projects around helping people with aphasia back to work, aren't we, Steve? And that email correspondence. Yeah, just replicating conversations that you might have in a work environment. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? I don't think there's anything that does that.
It's really changed a lot since I last saw it. And some of that stuff, I think for that project, James, it'd be perfect, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I don't think there's another program that's using AI like this. I can't think of. Does anybody else know of any that's?
I don't think there's anyone.
I think there's
using...
things in. No, I think there are things in development. I think people are starting to recognise that AI can do a lot, but it's also got quite a lot of limitations, from what I understand. So I think it'll just be introduced cautiously. I'm working on a project at the moment with City University, actually trying to use AI a little bit to do some stuff at a higher level, but it is really challenging.
It's interesting to hear. I'd love to hear more about that, to be honest. I think that for us, what we try to use AI a lot is on the content generation part. We don't use in other parts. I'll just give you one example where you mentioned there have been people using AI to like summarize a call into case notes. We're a little bit more reticent to do the clinical part, letting the AI do the clinical part itself, because I think that there's a little bit of danger there. I don't know. I feel a little bit less comfortable with that. We like to use AI on the more fun bits. For example, when we did the Taylor Swift, this is one example of where AI is really limited. When I did the Taylor Swift example I showed there with phone and pa, if you just run that through ChatGPT or something like that, AI doesn't understand phonetic pronunciation. It just understands letters. So it's going to do, I don't know, Taylor Swift, this is a horrible example. Taylor Swift is a problem, which it wouldn't be what you're looking for. Like there are going to be loads of clusters and things like that. So we run through, we use ChatGPT, but then we run through our own algorithms to tell it develop just to fix the phonetic part, because AI can be very limiting. And they're going to think they're perfect. ChatGPT will spit out a paragraph on Taylor Swift with certain phonemes, and it's going to be all wrong. And that's the part that where we go into our own algorithms. But I digress very far in this discussion. Do you have any comments or questions, or do you feel it's a little bit, does it look a bit scary to use? I know there's a lot of stuff there, so that's something that we're always concerned.
It looks really good. I was wondering when we were looking at it, and I think all of these apps add something else, and it just gives us a broader toolkit, and that's great. I don't know how we would work with clinical notes, for example. I don't think we would ever keep our records on a system like that, because I don't think the NHS would allow that. I don't know what other therapists on the call think, so I'm not sure what the notes function we would use. I don't know what we would use it for.
I'll just give a comment here on the notes. I think you're very correct. We don't expect people, SLTs, to keep their notes on our system. Not because we think our system is unreliable, it's just that we are not a regulated device for that. What we expect you is to copy or download the bits and then put into your notes. So that's our expectation. We're going to be working to integrate it with System 1 or whatever. We're going to work for that. But right now, what we tell our SLTs is, you pick that blur of text, there's a copy button, you copy there and change. Or you can change before, but don't use this as your main note system. That being said, I think having Beautiful Voice allows you to have obviously all the audios of the patient throughout their rehabilitation, so you can listen back, not just the numbers, but the audios. You can look back and show to them how they progressed, or show to yourself.
It's great for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's great for keeping qualitative data about progress, I think.
Yeah. So that's the. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to highlight the notes. Yeah, we're not. No, we're just to let you know. You as mentioned NHS. We're around 13 NHS trusts right now. So it is and yeah, just they are working with us in some capacity, working with the platform, using the platform in some capacity in many places already.
And so, are you saying that on our iPads, should the people with aphasia, if you're gonna use Beautiful Voice, set up an account? Because there's a speech therapists get a free version, don't you? But
Okay.
your actual people with aphasia, because on the iPads that you guys have got, I don't think we've got the paid for version of this. So everybody's got the free level of Beautiful Voice. So it means that the speech therapists can set the exercises, but you get 5 exercises. Am I right with that, Andre?
Yeah, I'll show this a little bit, and thanks for bringing this up, James. So first of all, so as you can see here, this is my account, my speech and language therapist account. Anyone, both a patient or SLT, can make an account in Beautiful Voice. So you don't need to pay to make an account. Once you have an account, the limitation is, you can see here, we have patients without license with the red one, and patients with license, the green and blue ones. A patient without a license can do 5 exercises a day for free. So, or you can do 5 exercises a day for free with them. So you do the exercises. After the 5th one, you're going to tell, do you want to pay or do you want to come back tomorrow? I mean, it has a better wording than that. So this is how it works. If the patient wants to pay for the license independently, they can pay. And that means you can work with them in as much as you want, and they can work as much as they want. And if you want to purchase the licenses, obviously some people working for Aphasia support, but we can also work with your NHS trust if you're interested, and I can talk more about that. You get a number of licenses and you can assign and reassign to your patients. So you can tell, oh, I don't know, this is Andre, he's a good candidate, I'm going to assign a license. This other person got discharged, or I feel that they are not using the platform to its best, I'm going to revoke the license. And they're going to then just have 5 exercises a day for free. Does that make sense? I'm just going to redo this so I keep the way I like to.
Sorry, just to clarify, so can the NHS then buy the rights to assign some licenses to their patients?
Yes.
And how much does it cost for a license, Andre? What's the...
Yeah, so this, so we have 2 models, not 2 models. So the base price of the license is £10 per month per patient license. But there's the part what we found out with the NHS Trust is that there is a period that they need to adapt to the platform, and they don't know how many licenses they're going to effectively use at the beginning. So what we do offer is a pilot, which basically means you can use as much as you want for this period with as many patients as you want, and this is for you to find out how many licenses you actually want to use. So it's a fixed fee. So this pilot is 8 months pilot. It costs £1,000 plus VAT, plus £200 plus VAT for training. So basically, this, I know it's a very so basically it's 8 months. You can use with as many patients as you want in the teams of your NHS Trust, and then you can find out, hey, I really need, I don't know, 5 licenses or whatever, 10 licenses, then you can decide, because otherwise people are just gonna, people get really worried about using licenses, and we want to have like one entry point, and that's why we changed to this pilot thing. But after that, it's £10 per month per patient who is using a license.
And if a patient buys their own license, it's £10 a month, is it?
If they pay their own licenses, it's £15 per month. So £10 is for NHS.
Okay.
And the whole point is, I'll just explain a little bit. What the other point of the pilot is, after the pilot, because I know SLTs, speech and language therapy teams, they don't have access to a lot of budget. But we take these 8 months to not just allow you to familiarize, but to help you make a case with procurement to get money from other sources. So that could be NHS digitalization, reduction of health inequalities, or whatever. So there are different pots of money, and we work with you within that 8 months to like, hey, let's find this and use this evidence to support you. But what I would say is that, as you can see, there's a lot of features, time-saving features like the exercise creation, etc., assessments, case note. It actually pays off. The platform will pay off because it's worth, your time is worth way more than the platform. So yeah.
Sorry, Andrew. So I just got a work message through there that distracted me for a moment. So
No worries.
just going back, so you said about it being £10 a month per patient for the NHS and 15 for the patient, but what was the other figure as well?
So since all the NHS trusts here that I can see, none of you guys are purchasing for us. We have an initial pilot price. So this is a price for you which costs £1,000 for 8 months, plus £200 for training. And then you can use it for as many patients as you want for that period. In general, and after that, you find out how many patients you actually need licenses for. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So just a couple of things. I mean, you please ask me questions. Do you have any other questions or?
Yeah, I just
please,
had a question about this. You mentioned about you get 5 exercises on the free version. Is that 5 repetitions of the same exercise or 5 different exercises?
Yeah, it's 5 repetitions, or it's 5 in total. So you can do 5 picture namings or 3 sentences and 2 picture names. Obviously, that wouldn't be the case probably, but it's
so like 5 individual
individual things. Yeah, not. So, so a couple of things just to before I forget. So basically, I'll send an email. I'll share with James my contact, and then I'll also share a YouTube link which has some which has more or less what I showed you, but it has on a video if you want to watch later. Obviously, James recorded, so it's a bit less necessary. But if you want, you can just go into Beautiful Voice, create an account, play around with it, and everyone who makes an account, both patient and SLT, are going to receive an email from me inviting for a call. So I'm happy to do a one-to-one call. We can go deep into one of the many sections that I didn't show very properly because it's very in terms of time. So we can go deep on that or answer any questions. So that's basically both things I was going to say. Do you have questions, comments, suggestions?
No, thank you very much, Andre. Yeah, no, that was really good. Yeah, that was really good. So, so I've recorded the session, so I'll share that with everybody. Meeting in the next day or two. Yeah, thank you very much for spending some time with us, Andre, and explaining the Beautiful Voice. Brilliant.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, please make an account,
Andre.
and then I'll send an email to you guys. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Cheers, Andre.
Bye.
Bye.
So thanks everybody for coming. Yeah, that highlighted something there. I think Beautiful Voice. I think you've got it on all your iPads, but we've got the free version. So we have actually we're going to be buying some new iPads, and it's going to have access to the full version of Beautiful Voice. But at the moment, we don't have an agreement with Beautiful Voice on the iPads. They are existing stock. So you've got the free level, which means you guys get it free. But then your patients, if they create an account and a link, they've got the free version. So you can set them 5 exercises, or they can choose 5 exercises for free every day. But with QSpeak, you've got everything. Tactus therapy,
James,
you've got everything. Yeah.
Because we're loaning the iPads to patients, presumably we'd need to set up the Beautiful Voice, our end of it, on a different device, and then they would have the iPads, obviously. So we'd need to set it up on a different device, wouldn't we?
Do it on your work laptop or your work computer. That's the good thing about Beautiful Voice. You can use it on your Android, iPad, your laptop. It's none of that. Hopefully it's going to reduce the amount of iPads we have to loan. The same with Tactus Therapy as well. So they're moving to a new system, which is a virtual rehab centre, which is going to mean less reliance on the apps. So less reliance on loaning. Hopefully, we'll be able to use people's own devices. So yeah, that's the one limitation with Beautiful Voice. But it might be that I didn't want it to be seen as a sales pitch there, because it's not. That's not what this is about. I just wanted you guys to have a good understanding of Beautiful Voice. But it might be that you're working with people and they're really enjoying the 5 exercises. They decide they want to sign up to it, and then they can obviously turn it on and turn it off whenever they want. But you've got all of Q Speak, you've got all of Tactus Therapy, Speech Sounds on Q, all of those on the iPads.
Right, yeah.
Good. Are they all working okay? Anybody had any problems?
Yeah, no problems.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it was user error on my part or not, but one of mine, I haven't been able to collate the first 3 weeks of data.
Okay.
The others I have. So I'm pretty sure, as sure as I can be, I'm pretty sure that I put it on to collate the data, because I sat down, I did it with every single one that I've loaned out, but for some reason I couldn't collate it. So that was last week when I checked. I'm going to see the lady again on Wednesday and check to see whether or not that data is now, like that week's worth of data is available. So then I'll know whether or not it's a problem with the iPad or whether it's a problem with me, which I'm assuming it's me. I'm going to put it down to that. But yeah, the others.
There, if you've done it.
Might not be.
Well,
if you've done it with all the others, it suggests it might be the device.
Well, yeah, that did come up last week with one lady. She wasn't convinced that it was recording how much time she's doing, because she was like, I can't believe I've just done an hour and a half. So I just asked her if she could just write it, just for the next week, sort of make a note of when she's doing it, and then just we can compare and see if she's
thinking, Emma. Yeah.
Is that the same iPad?
With DS?
No, yeah, different iPad.
Yeah.
We've got a catch up coming up, haven't we, about the data collection. I think.
Yeah, because I've got an issue with the spreadsheet as well on that it won't let me look at any. It won't let me look at.
I haven't tried yet. I've just been writing it on the individual forms, so I haven't actually tried to upload it to the.
Well, I've started doing that, because on the spreadsheet it starts at something like week 23.
Emma said that, didn't she? She was going to get that corrected. So that's probably something we have to email Emma about.
Yeah. So that was still a problem, and I had a couple of questions.
Keep
so
it
that
on
would
your.
Be good.
Keep it on the paper records, and at least we've got it. Then we can upload it all when it's working properly.
Yeah. And with this other lady, I've just told her to, hopefully if now we've got it sorted, and I'll find out this week, then I can just average depending on how much she's been using it since then.
I think so. If that's the idea, is James, that we're all collecting a set of data over the next 12 months to look at, firstly, sort of how feasible it is, like how much are people actually using the iPads when they're left to do their own programs, and then also having a little look just qualitatively at how they're feeling it's helped their communication. The idea being that if we can prove it's cost effective, the NHS might fund a longer term loan of these devices, if that's something that aphasia support are going to be able to continue to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we are at the moment. We're just in the process of applying for funding to buy a whole new stock of iPads. I think we may be getting quite a lot of new iPads. So yeah. Well, hopefully it goes well. I mean, there shouldn't be a problem with the screen time. But if you send me the name of the iPads, it's when you go into settings, in the about. The actual number.
Yeah, there's the number, isn't there? Because we've had to write that on our information.
Yeah, it's in about, it's in settings, and then general, and then about, and then in the name it'll say IP, whatever the number is, and then I can get our IT people to take a look at it to see if there's a problem with it, because they should all be collecting the screen time. So
We'll have a look at those two and see basically if one is starting to collate the data and if the other one is actually sort of accurate, and if there's a problem I'll get back to you on that one. But one thing I will say is, I mean, I took one of the iPads out to one of my patients and she took it off me and she hugged it.
Yeah.
And she was so excited, and
they are very popular.
Yeah, and even the lady that I didn't think was kind of going to use it that much, when I went to review it after the 3 weeks, she'd been using it every single day. So I've had really, really positive sort of feedback so far with that, which is lovely.
It's great. It's great. It's a great facility to have, which is why we need to collect the data so we can prove that it's a facility worth having, because the NHS aren't going to fund anything if they don't think it's saving them some money. But I think what we can say is it delivers better outcomes and it saves our time.
Definitely a good idea to get me the names of those iPads sooner rather than later, because the IT people might be able to. It might be there's it's turned off in the background or something, because we've had iPads before where they've locked them all down. So these ones are purposely not locked down. So you know what I mean? That's so yeah. And then they can check to see if that's for some reason they locked down. Obviously, whenever you get them to me, the names.
Do you want me to send you the details of those three so that you can have a look?
Yeah.
Just would that help me to just send the details over, and then?
Did you get three?
Yes.
iPads? Yeah, and then we can just have a look to see if they're all. I'll just say to the IT people, look, the speech therapist should be able to see every bit of use of this device. You know, in terms of how many minutes someone's using a particular app. That should be just a standard across every single one of them. Because I know it was important that wasn't closed down. You know. Yeah, that'd be good.
And I think it's really interesting that none of the apps seem to have high-level tasks, and it seems to me that would be quite straightforward and really helpful. So hopefully we can get some of those sorted as well, and the sort of high-level reading and writing tasks.
Yeah, which I think beautiful voice has got the potential to, because there isn't really another one, is there? Constant therapy. But that's not really
constant. I was going to ask you, is constant therapy something you would put on or not?
I've always found them quite difficult to speak to engage.
They're American, aren't they? It's Swathi Kiran out in the States. I've just had an ex-patient who I see at a support cafe come back and said that she started using it and she loves it and can see a massive difference in her communication since. So I don't know if it's something. Does anyone else use constant therapy?
No.
I'm kind of hoping that Beautiful Voice takes their place.
Well, I wonder if it might. It's not a dissimilar platform, I don't think. They've got a lot more high-level stuff, I think, though, on constant therapy. I've used it before with one person, but it was a bit hit and miss because we were trying to do. He bought it for his iPad, and they have a lot more cognitive linguistic crossover tasks. So a lot higher level tasks where you've got to utilize a lot more cognitive skill as well as linguistic skill. If you're thinking about summarizing information and putting it into succinct ways, or pulling out key points or detecting key pieces of information, that sort of cognitive skill is involved in a lot of their tasks as well. And we get quite a lot of patients like that. I don't know about you guys, but we get quite a lot of patients who are professionals who who aren't the same as they were cognitively. I'm working with a lady at the minute who's a district nurse, and she needs support to be able to compose things that are much more complex, like professional emails and stuff like that. And there just isn't that kind of exercise that involves you analysing and integrating and then presenting information verbally and in writing. So I just make up a lot of these tasks. It's really time consuming. And then if you ask ChatGPT to make you something up, it's a bit rubbish.
I have an Emma. Emma makes up my. She's fantastic at it.
I haven't got an Emma. You see, maybe I need to get myself an Emma.
Yeah, you need an Emma. Everybody needs an Emma. But I bought I pay for the virtual rehab centre, the Tactus virtual rehab centre, because I find that really useful as well. But again, it's another thing, but it doesn't have that higher level stuff. It's good. It's got some, but not to that extent.
Yeah, that's
I think it's coming.
That sort of like, it's like that more complicated sentence structure stuff, isn't it? But it doesn't do, like you were saying, Ruth, like the pulling out and the analysing and summarising and like combining that cognitive. But I'm working with somebody that sounds similar as well, but we're not quite getting that level of detail from the exercises, really.
What's that? You use Tactus? What? Sorry, that's not one I'm familiar with.
It's the Tactus therapy, but it's the virtual rehab centre that they've developed, which is a little bit like Beautiful Voice in a sense that you have an account and you add patients to it and then you send them homework.
Is it a website or is it an app?
Yeah,
it's a website. And it's about £19 a month. But then the patients don't pay. I pay for it, and then the patients I can just send them homework to do on that, and they really enjoy that, and it has got some kind of descriptive work on there.
Is it different exercises to the Tactus apps?
Similar, not exactly the same, no.
So it sounds like it's got some extension though, Louise, if you were saying it's got some more complex sentence level stuff.
It's got a lot of cognitive stuff on there as well, which is quite nice, and a bit of number work, some memory tasks, that sort of thing as well. So it's
that's going to be on our new iPads. So we're going to be the virtual rehab centre will be on our iPads rather than the apps.
Okay.
So because again, it means that we don't have to have as much of a stock of iPads. We can use somebody's own device.
Yeah.
But the problem is that after the loan, then what next? They have to then go onto the apps, which look different. So we're still back to that. Oh, the person now needs an iPad. Oh, well, the iPad or Android, don't they? But they can't use a laptop if they're using a laptop. So we're back to that whole. And then they're going to be using an app that looks different to the virtual rehab centre, aren't they? So
and we still come back to the fact that not everybody's got digital access, and that you end up with a digital exclusion zone, and that's not equitable at all, is it? So I know that borrowing the iPads is great, but it is still, people really could do with their own devices, couldn't they? That they can all access everything on for free. So it's never going to happen. But I guess we're trying to come up with solutions. And if we can borrow the iPads and then loan them to a patient for a rehab period, part of my thinking is at least them borrowing them, they can see what they are and they can decide if they feel they're worth investing in themselves, if they can. Because I always feel uncomfortable about saying to people, I know you haven't got an iPad, but it'd be really good if you bought one and then bought all these apps. And then I think, but what if they don't get on with them? What if they don't like them? So that's, I think, a good thing for us to start with, is being able to lend them to people just so they can try them out.
I think even if that was the only thing that came out of it, it's a big bonus, because
big win, isn't it?
Like you know, the fact that you say to people, oh, this would be really good, but you just don't know how they're going to feel about it, how they're going to get on with it. But then some people will absolutely love something and say, yeah, no, I want to continue with this.
Yeah. Okay, right. I'm gonna have to go, I'm afraid. I've just seen the time. It's really nice to see you all, and I think we'll catch up again quite soon in terms of the project.
Yeah.
Can't remember when, but we've got a date in, I think.
Yeah. Thanks for getting that organised.
No worries. All right.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much, guys.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.